Hello, my name is Rosie. My partners are Braden and Latrent, and we did our presentation on Italy. So for a table of contents, the topics that I will be discussing is political setup, political issues, context language of Italy, uncertainty avoidance, individualism and collectivism, and gifts and superstitions. So Italy was formerly a monarchy, but by public referendum on June 2nd, 1946, it became a democratic republic. And this is basically just that they give sovereignty to the people. So instead of a king or having one person in power, it's ruled by a prime minister, and they have prime ministers. And so Italy has a constitution, and with no easy amendment, which means that it has a complex process to make changes to the Constitution and a complex process to change any amendments, which are protected by the Constitutional Court, which the Constitution basically gives inviolable rights to people and equality. Okay, so Italy is a high context culture, so reading between the lines is very important in Italy. They're very expressive, and I think this is pretty stereotypical of Italians. They use their hands a lot when they speak. They make a lot of facial expressions, lots of physical communication. They have a lot of indirect communication, so tone and context when speaking to others is really important. And also phrases like we'll see would mean no. So you just have to be aware of that if you're doing business in Italy. Phrases like it's difficult would probably mean no. So it's very important to read between the lines. Okay, current political issues that affect business. One is complex regulations. So business in Italy requires a lot of paperwork and a lot of permits that may take a long time to receive. And there are a lot of permits that you need to get, locally, regionally, and nationally. This can take a while, which can delay on projects or businesses that anyone is wanting to start up in Italy. Number 2, labor laws. So right now, Italy is making labor laws to kind of adjust to the modernizing workplace and just trends in work, for gigs, being able to work at home, and just having more flexible schedules at work. They're trying to balance this with having equal work pay, benefits, things like that. And younger generations also expect flexible workplaces, and they also expect inclusivity. So they expect to have flexibility to work at home if they need to balance work and life. And they expect equal pay for everyone, gender equality. Number 4, migration issues. Right now, Italy is having a lot of migration. A lot of people come in from other countries on all their borders, and they've been having some controversial policies on migration, but migrants usually fill in on agricultural jobs and positions. And then number 5, there are regional differences between the north and the south. So the north is more industrial, there's more infrastructure, and there are a lot more jobs in the north. In the south, there is an unemployment issue, and it is funded by the government. So it is subsidized by the government, in the North doesn't want to subsidize the South. They want to keep their money and reinvest in like locally or into their own business, which is something to consider when deciding where to set up a business or where to locate your business. The uncertainty avoidance. So Italy has a pretty high uncertainty avoidance, which is 75 out of 100. This means that they are uncomfortable with ambiguity, so planning is crucial. They need things like agendas and strict rules in the workplace, and without rules, it can create a very stressful environment for Italians. And since masculinity is pretty high in Italy, this can create a kind of stressful environment. All right. Individualism and collectivism. So it's 53 out of 100, which is pretty moderate. So it doesn't lean in one direction. So then there is a difference between the North and the South, again, just because of the differences in infrastructure. Because the North is more urban, there's more jobs, it can be more individualistic. This is in industrial big cities and in central areas in Italy. And in the South, there's less infrastructure, so it can be more collective, there's more family networking, and so like the group that one belongs to is important in the South. And there are important rituals like having Sunday lunches and spending time with family. Okay, gifts and superstitions. So gifts really aren't expected like right off the bat. So it's not mandatory to give gifts right away. It's not mandatory in general, but they are appreciated later in a relationship whenever there is a bond between two people. So this is one of the examples is do not give knives and scissors because this can be seen as like cutting a relationship. And then anything purple and black is seen as mourning, just as an FYI. And then there are traditions when you're invited into a home. It is important to always bring something. All right, so I'm going to hand it over to Brayden. Thank you.